The embalming room always had a certain stillness to it, a silence that went beyond quiet, something heavier, like the air was holding its breath. I'd been working as an undertaker for 10 years so. I thought I'd seen everything. Mangled bodies from car wrecks, the soft, sunken faces of the elderly, even a suicide or two. But nothing ever felt like my first night as a mortician. I heard about the good salary Mortician get each month, and it was way beyond what I ever got as an undertaker. The economy of Nigeria demanded that I switch for a better pay grade, and I jumped at the offer the moment it came. It was a Thursday night in late October, the kind of night where the wind moves like it's whispering secrets through the trees. I was working the night shift alone. My assistant had called out sick, and the funeral home was quiet except for the occasional creak of the old building settling into its foundation. At around 11:17 p.m., the body arrived. The man's name was Thomas Keller, 32, no known family. Found in his apartment, cause of death unknown. The coroner's report listed it as pending investigation. That alone was unusual. Most people come in with a label stroke, heart failure, overdose. This one had nothing. Just pending. He was pale, but not in the way a corpse is pale. There was a greyish hue under his skin, like wax, and his eyes, though shut, looked strained, the lids slightly twitching. I chalked it up to nerve spasms. It happens. But something in my gut twisted the wrong way. I wheeled him onto the embalming table and began my usual routine. Gloves on, tools laid out, clipboard in reach. I checked for any signs of trauma. None. No bruises, no cuts. Just that strange waxy skin and a faint scent. Not rot or chemical, but earthy, like damp soil after a rain. That's when the lights flickered. Now, this wasn't uncommon. The building was old, and we had storms roll through often enough. But the power didn't go out, not completely. The fluorescence buzzed, dimmed to a low hum, then came back, brighter than before. I paused, hand on the scalpel, heart ticking a bit faster. The temperature dropped. I could feel it, a sudden, sharp cold that sank into my bones. And then, Thomas Keller moved. It wasn't dramatic, just a twitch of his hand. But it was enough. I dropped the scalpel. Reflexes, I muttered aloud. Just reflexes. I stepped back, trying to shake it off. But then the radio on the counter crackled to life. I hadn't turned it on. In fact, it hadn't worked in weeks. The voice was distant, buried in static. Down, get out. Not dead. My skin crawled. I went to the radio and unplugged it, but it kept playing. The same phrase over and over, growing clearer with each repetition. Get out. Not dead. Get out. Then silence. I turned back to the body, and Thomas Keller was smiling. Not a full grin, but the corners of his mouth had undeniably curled upward. His eyes were still closed, but I swear I saw the lids flutter. I backed away slowly, my breath catching. And then, his eyes snapped open. Black. Not just the pupils, the entire eye, void of light, like staring into a well with no bottom. I froze. My legs refused to move. His chest rose. Once. Twice. He sat up. The embalming table screeched as the metal shifted under his weight. My heart thudded against my ribs, begging me to run. But I stood there, paralyzed by something deeper than fear. It was wrongness, something that didn't belong in our world. His mouth opened. No sound came out, but I could feel it. A pressure in the air, like screaming without noise. Every hair on my body stood up. And then he spoke, a voice like gravel scraping over bone. This is not my death. He slid off the table, his movements unnatural, jerky, too quick. I stumbled back, fumbling for the door, but it slammed shut on its own. The air thickened. The lights above burst one by one, until the room was lit only by the emergency bulb in the corner, casting long, twisted shadows across the walls. Keller, or whatever was wearing him, walked toward me. I don't remember screaming. I remember the darkness folding in, the feeling of hands, cold and wrong, gripping my shoulders. Then nothing. I woke up on the floor the next morning. The body was back on the table, still and unmoving, a sheet draped neatly over him. The room looked undisturbed. All the lights were intact. The radio was unplugged. I checked the security footage. It cut out at exactly 11:17 p.m. The coroner's report was updated a few days later. Cause of death, cardiac arrest. I don't embalm alone anymore. And sometimes, late at night, when the wind whispers too loud, I swear I hear a voice in silence.